Try to get, okay, so you guys can actually get to see me better. Welcome. My name is Gift Amadi. I'm just gonna wait for a couple of people to join us. Actually get to see me better. Welcome. My name is Gift Amadi. Reduce the volume. For a couple of people to join us. It's your phone. Okay, so we're just gonna wait for one or a couple more people, but before we do that, I can make an introduction. My name is Gift, and I am the manager of Victoria Acres. We've been doing this business for roughly since 2020. We've been doing this since 2020, so we do have quite a lot of knowledge concerning real estate and basically organizational structure. Just trying to get. We're having a network shuffle, but I think we're good. We had a network shuffle initially, but I think this works. Okay. Yes. Um, this is okay. So, all right. So let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about a very simple topic, which is basically branding versus structure. I don't know if you could hear me. I'm hoping that I'm loud enough. But first off, a little introduction. I'm a Madi Gifts manager of Victoria Acres, and I've been managing this brand for about 6 years. I have a total of about 7 to 8 years experience in real estate, whereby I've worked with professionals, I've worked with individuals, and I've helped organizations as well build structures and also help them with their branding. So I think this topic is very important, especially for young people who are planning to move into real estate, to ensure that they have the right information, because I have a lot of people who are coming into real estate and they have a priority of branding versus structure. Which one do I prioritize? What do I launch with? So with my years of experience, with a total of 8 years experience, 6 years of leading this company and producing results and efficiency, and also years of working with external organizations to help them produce result and efficiency, I have come up with various forms of how I feel an organization can work with branding and also with structure. I want this to be an interactive session, so please, if you have any question in between, please let me know. But let me know if anybody has any issues with the audio, because previously I had to work on the audio, so I want to be sure that everyone can hear me. Am I audible? If I could get like a sound check response from the audience to know if it's basically audible. Okay. All right, so let's get right into it. Branding versus structure, which one goes first? Let's first of all define them. What is branding? Branding is the process of shaping how people think, feel, and view, right? So with branding is how people think, feel, and view your brand. Branding is shaping the thinking, the perception, and the interaction of external parties. Now, with structure, a structure is a company's chain of command, a chain of hierarchy, something that you have to put together, arrange and organize and structured perfectly. So with structure is introspection of what you want your organization or your brand to be. With branding is how your brand is being perceived by the external parties. With structure, it based on how you intend to build the relationship, the interaction, and the hierarchy of your parties, or basically how you want to basically construct your organization to be. So structure is basically how you organize, how the inventories, the checkmate, all of those systems are involved in order for you to be able to organize. So what are the difference and what are the similarities? Now with branding, you're dealing with external perception. The way people view you must make sense. With with structure, you're doing with clarification. You're clear on the terms you're dealing with. You're clear on how your organization looks. Branding is why will an organization choose you, and structure is why the organization has chosen you. Then we have branding brings in inquiries, while structure talks about the procedure, the channels, the templates in which we'll be able to maintain the data. Branding talks about positioning and storytelling, while structure basically talks about the template and the hierarchy chain. They both sound different, but you need them to come together to work. Let me give you an example. Now with branding, it talks about stories, but without a structure, you don't have a story to tell. If you don't have a solid structure, you don't have a very solid story to tell. And branding helps with the positioning. So now the big question is, which one comes first? I'm going to use my personal experience and I'm going to also give a generalized concept. My personal experience. When I started my brand, Victoria Acres, I didn't want to be known. I didn't want to be public. I just finished working for an institution, so I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I knew exactly what I wanted to bring to the world. And what did I want to bring to the world? I wanted to bring a real estate agent that doesn't leave people halfway, right? People would buy houses and that's it. I wanted to be an asset manager. I wanted to help people generate income from the properties that they bought from me, right? So it's more like infusing a form of management, marketing, and basically real estate all together and forming a structure. That's what I wanted. But in order for me to know how that would work for me, I needed to close in and understand what I want this organization to look like, which is the introspection, my personal perspective, my clarification, my hierarchy chain, my template. Why would they choose me? All of those things, my procedures, all of those things that I needed to figure it out. I didn't want a situation whereby people are saying, buy from her, buy from her. And when you come, there's no structure, there's no procedure, there is no chain of command, there is no communication channel. You're disappointed, right? So I've told a story that does not correlate with what your experience would be. So for me, what was a priority for me was I needed to sit back, worked with some realtors, collaborate, partnership, get the experience that I need to know how to position myself for the public to perceive me in the way that I want to be perceived. So for me, I started off with structure. And what I started off with working with organizations, I started off with collaborations, I started off with creating template. I learned a lot of lessons before I finally agreed that I am never ever closing any deal in this life without an offer. And where I am right now, the kind of relationship I build right now is because of me setting those standards in place. I'm thinking if I just went it off with explosive branding, calling this newspaper outlet, writing articles, going to Meta, going to all of this, doing external platforms, the stories that would come out from that experience would be a horror story. It would be she doesn't know what she's doing. And referrals, they move faster. In fact, before the correction will come in, people have already dealt with the reality that this is exactly the service they will get from you. And I saw that happen to a lot of organizations that were rushing towards branding, branding, branding. They didn't know what they were doing. They would close maybe one or two deals, some even short them, and they start their own organization. And before you know, they are dealing with litigations, they're dealing with legal issues, they're dealing with promising and not delivering because they did not have the experience needing to know when to promise and when not to overpromise. So for me, due to my personal experience and due to what I've seen happen to similar people that choose a different path, I think every organization should focus on structure first. Focus on structure, build your structure, build your structure, and then you go to the public with the story of your experience. Be clear on your terms, be clear on who you want on your team. When I started Victoria Acres, I didn't organize my structure properly. Oh, okay. Somebody was trying to like bring a sticker. I think someone was trying to ask a question. Oh, wait. Listen, I'm not really that good at this. I'll just put it here. Okay, I got it off. Thank you. At this point, I don't know what to do. Okay, so let's just let her hang there. Okay, great. I don't know. This is distracting. Okay. Okay, I think I got it all finally. So let's proceed then. So I didn't want the stories I was telling and the experience the clients were experiencing. I wanted it to align. So when people see the brand, and even if you ask someone that, even if it's to make an inquiry, they could feel the system in place. And that was what I wanted, because that was how I wanted to function, and that's what I wanted to introduce to the public. Now, what do you prioritize? Right? I'm assuming both upcoming realtors, both upcoming agents and existing development agency. But before we go ahead, quickly share this live, because I'm about to get to like the most important part, what to prioritize. If you're a big brand already starting off real estate, I would give you some, some points, and then you can basically understand what you're going to prioritize. So before we continue, please share. There's a link icon there. Share on your Instagram, share on your WhatsApp, and share on every platforms. Everybody on my team as well, share. So now let's get into what to prioritize. Branding versus structure. Which one do you prioritize? Which one goes first? Based on my personal experience, I wanted to go with structure, but that was because I was starting small. I wanted to gather the experience needed for me to make the decision for my audience to believe me. But now that I am much more established, I would follow a different route. So I'm going to be giving you some priorities, and you're going to make, for your own self. Now, in terms of focus, with structure, you're focusing on internal perception, right? The chain of command. Who picks up your phone? There was a mistake I made when I started Victoria Acres. I wanted everybody to have an opportunity. I wanted to use the American system, brokerage system. Everybody pick up the phone, call, like everybody go make your money. But I forgot that the American system had license, meaning before these people were introduced to the brokerage firm, they had license, meaning they had the basic information, so they knew what they were selling. I had agents who were struggling. I had unnecessary internal competition because I did not do my research to understand that in a well-organized countries, they already give you basic information. So when you're working with a brokerage, it's a personal work. But here, they're coming here as an entry level. So I'm supposed to give information. So I had people who didn't have information attending to clients. And clients are like, I don't understand. Why would they say this and it's this? So now that I'm in a different position, I do probation, entry level, and all of that. So now, focus. Focus on internal perception first. If you're starting off, focus on internal perception. If you're already existing, focus on your external perception. Let me explain. A lot of brands use their internal perception to sell to the audience. They don't feel the need to convince the audience this is who we are and what we stand for. If you're starting up new, that's not your business. But if you've been existing on the market for a period of time, and you're wondering, and you have your structure in place, and you're wondering, why am I having difficulty communicating my value to my clients? I'm here to tell you that you're using your structure as your standard for your audience. The way the people see you is very important. If you need to run a PR, if you need to get a microphone to get clarifications on certain things, some people don't know what your brand stands for. Some people think, oh, I thought it was just a development agency. They don't know that you're an agency that basically sells for other brands. Because you're using your standard to qualify your audience. No, you have to clarify exactly. Whenever I'm with my phone, I tell people, Victoria Acres, your number one stop shop real estate solution company. I say it full sentence so people know your number one stop shop real estate solution company. We provide every solution you need, and we also manage your assets. I say that. If I don't say that, I say your number one investor, Lagos investor. I help you manage all the assets in Lagos because I have a great deal of idea. You have to communicate that perception to your audience. And another thing a lot of people don't understand, that it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. There are over 6 billion people in the world. Assume every day your brand is meeting new people. Assume every day when you go out, you're shaking hands. Hello, my name is Gift. Nice to meet you. Hello. So every day you must be communicating that perception. You must be clarifying that perception. That perception the audience have, you must keep on retaining it. You must have a slogan. Yes. It is part of your branding. After you've done your structure and you know that your organization stands for integrity and professionalism, make that announcement. Make that announcement. We stand for integrity, excellence, this and that. I tell a lot of my clients about my excellence process, that we do cross-checking before we introduce to the audience. Do the same to your brand, either social media, either personal, either by referral, whatever system it is. Ensure that you're continuously communicating your perception and the external perception of your brand to your audience continuously. It never stops. I always tell people 6 billion people in the world. Every day I'm making an introduction to 100. If I make an introduction to 100 from now to the next 50 years, I still haven't gotten to 6 billion people. So ensure that your internal perception, you find a way to convert it to a way that your audience can actually believe. Another thing again, function. We've talked about focus. For existing brand, focus on the perception people have outside of you and communicate that perception continuously and never ever stop communicating that perception to your audience. For a small brand, focus on starting small. Don't focus so much on branding. Focus on building structure. The money you use for ads, use it to top up your salary of your staff to promote efficiency. Yes, I had to do something recently that changed the course of my business. Right? I had to get an assistant. The money that I would put for ad, I had to move it into a different role of an assistant whereby my efficiency is measured to the T. And because I have an assistant, I'm able to be on this live right now, not wondering if my phone is ringing or not. So for a small brand, focus on getting the right people on your team. Because when you start doing that marketing, that branding, it's the right people on your team that will ensure the sales are done. I don't even believe on conversions on external platform. I believe on in-house conversions. So ensure your in-house conversions are strong. Don't focus on branding. Don't focus on putting banners everywhere. Focus on getting the best team of people. Focus on developing or ensuring or subscribing to better systems. Just recently, I just subscribed to an AI system to help with augmented reality. If I was a small brand, before I focus on giving money to external platforms, I will focus on ensuring that I have a CRM system. I have a CRM system. Any inquiry that comes in from my ads, I've already paid for the app that is going to help me know which one is serious, which one is bought, which one is interesting, which one needs my attention. For a small brand, start with that first. Because there's nothing as worse as putting so much money into marketing and you're not able to make any sales because you didn't have the right team. The team didn't have the information. You didn't have even the inventory needed. Focus on scouting. Focus on building your internal inventory. Then the second thing, function. Structure helps the business to scale, right? The structure helps the business to scale, expand into new markets, and prevent internal brand and confusion. So with structure, you know exactly what you're doing. It even makes it easy for your content. Like some content I'm making, because my team already know who I am, my personality, they easily know the kind of content that I can do. Because I've trained them to look out for that kind of content for my audience. They know that I can do this type of content. They know I can do this type of content. They know I can accommodate this. They know I can accommodate this. So because they know that, I don't have to be struggling with content because I have a team that understands my content structure. So that way, we now know our target audience. Do you see how that works? I understand my structure. My team understands what I like, what my needs, my perception. Now I'm able to modify my target audience based on the structure I put in place. Now, after my target audience, I'm able to convert a sales channel to ensure even those that don't want to buy right now, I can still communicate with them. Hello. Someone said hi, so I'm just saying hello back. I think you can say that. Do you get? So you must ensure that your structure is solid, is done and communicated. You transcribe that into your branding, your communication, your target audience. From there, your conversions and your sale just follows an easy process. Now you can do branding and go to sleep, knowing fully well your branding would basically convert into sales and the perfect perception of your audience. Now, execution. Branding relies on design and storytelling. Branding relies on storytelling and experience. You know, like right now, I'm having this conversation and it's very interesting to you because I have real life experience to back it up. Imagine talking to somebody who hasn't seen anything. How would you know how they would handle the things that they're going to see? If you're working in an organization that's seen everything from the legal department, what loopholes would the legal team introduce to us that we don't understand? So, branding helps with even structure helps with your basic branding is the storytelling. Structure is the story that in fact is what brought the story in the first place. Without the structure, this story wouldn't have even existed. So branding designs on storytelling, structure relies on strategic alignment. Branding, storytelling, experiences, structure, strategic alignment. You can't build a team without strategy. Even when you set goals, you need a strategy in order for you to achieve those goals. And from your goals, you're able to set in branding targets to achieve your goals. So, structure focuses on your strategy. You have to be strategic in real estate. I have like 1,000,001 strategy in real estate. I think if possible, after this, I can even start like mini seminars. So you can actually get this real estate thing is not something you wake up and you get it. Every day there's a new experience. You know why? There are new policies every day. So with execution, branding relies on storytelling. Structure focuses on the story itself and the experiences. Branding focuses on basically the perception of the audience, while structure focuses on the hierarchy, the strategies, the policies, the clarification. If you're not clear what you're doing in this market, you'll be taken on a wild goose hunt. And you know, all of these things are being said to ensure that your effort is rewarded. Your effort being rewarded is very, very important for your brand to grow. Because after that, in fact, after you're done, you use some of your structures to tell stories. You use some of your structures to tell your audience how efficient or how you're able to measure efficiency. You use your structure to tell the audience how you were able to deal with a difficult situation. And who knows who is dealing with that difficult situation right now that needed to hear you say that. So please, for new brands, don't forget, you use your strategies to enforce it on your audience. Your audience are not your staff. Your audience are your audience, and their beliefs are their beliefs. The best you can do is clarify the misconceptions and the confusion. So in my conclusion, branding versus structure. For a small organization, focus on structure. Big organization, don't small organization, focus on structures, internal perception, clarifications, and all of those needed to solidify your storytelling. For big organizations, don't be too selfish on your internal perception. Ensure that you're also communicating based on how the individuals see you. If individuals see you as luxury brands, ensure you invest in your storytelling, in your visuals, in the way you position yourself. Position yourself the way the audience are perceiving you. And don't forget, in order for you to even change the way the audience perceive you, you have to work on your structure. If your structure sucks, your service will always suck. Your branding story will always suck. So if you want to reinvent yourself, look at your structure and then go to the audience and work on their perception. Work together with the audience perception. Let me tell you, even the misconception helps. Sometimes misconception gives you an opportunity to rebrand yourself. The misconception gives you an opportunity to tell a story. So Thank you so much for watching. I really did enjoy this session. I went beyond the time that I planned. I was hoping this was going to be 15, but here we are at 25 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a thing or two. And don't forget, you can always reach out to us. We're available on Instagram. We're available on TikTok. Reach out to us if you have any questions. That's one of the things we do. We answer the questions. You can go to our DM right now and send us a message concerning anything you need understanding on, and we'll be there to provide it for you. Thank you for watching. I remain your host, Amadi Gift, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Quickly go on our Instagram right now and follow us and ask us questions. We're looking forward to working with organizations. We're looking forward to having synergies with brands that want to understand how to reposition themselves. Amadi Gift and